Can Mass Effect be beaten without guns? That's what Sadie Shepard and her band of misfits are trying to do, and I'm here to tell you the story. Welcome to part 2, where we get into the grunt work of building out our character while visiting a hot shithole, a cold shithole, and an actual shithole. But it's okay, because I get to drive the Mako. Last time we assembled the majority of our crew, got beaten up in a club, and was assaulted by mental images of our future. Picking up where we left off, it was time to throw ourselves into some side quests to level up Sadie and the team. After our mission on Eden Prime, we were due a promotion to the first human Spectre, so we could hunt Saren and avenge Nihilus. But I got a bit distracted when running around the Citadel. I cut most of the boring downtime as it was mostly me scanning planets, driving around in the Mako and taking on small encounters that we had no issues with, but I'll show you the highlights. We hit the bar for social reasons, learned what it's like to punch a brick wall, and paid a visit to the Asari consort.
You are the first human Spectre, Commander.
After Sadie's well-deserved promotion, it was time for some motivational words for our crew aboard the Normandy.
Listen up, Normandy. None of the other species has the guts, grit, or balls to deal with this.
Well said, Commander.
Continuing the hunt for XP, we ended up on a planet which gave me an insight to what it's like being an e-girl at a gaming convention. We were then sent on a special mission to deal with a cult leader.
I trust you to use your judgment.
First person to say I dies.
Aye.
While we were out taking in the many sights of a planet, I started contemplating one of the potential rules for this challenge. As up until now I had not used the cannon on the Mako, mostly because I hadn't fought anything and was just driving around. But then we came across this headache-inducing planetary tapeworm. This urged me to make the use of the Mako cannon allowed, purely because the only other way to deal with enemies while in the vehicle would have been to run them over. But unfortunately a lot of the vehicle combat encounters are very damage spongy enemies, and even more so on the Insanity difficulty. There was also the fact that the vehicle sections weren't particularly engaging for me, and frankly, even with the use of the cannon, it ended up just being me circling the enemy for 5 minutes while I watched the health bar tickle away. Anyways, I set the challenge, and if any of you Thresher More sympathizers don't like it, you can go kick rocks. Now we had got some XP and leveled up a bit, so it was time for some progression. We went to go find the Asari scientist, Liara Tassoni, on the planet Theron. Now that we had done some leveling, we'd gotten access to the new ability Lift, which was going to be one of our main forms of CC. I was getting comfortable with the general mobs of enemies and wasn't feeling too threatened. Oh, I guess the Geth heard that and decided to send me a reality check. Yep, that'd do it. So here's the problem. The Geth armature has a lot of health, and shoots a projectile that explodes in a pretty decent AoE. The best bits of cover were in a bit of a bottleneck. There were also Geth stalkers that had us pinned behind cover, and we were outnumbered and the team kept getting wrecked. Despite feeling stronger, the cooldown still felt like our biggest weakness. Even though we had a few obstacles, my first thought was that we can retreat and use the respawn trick if the team go down. I then remembered that I had also unlocked the Unity skill, which allows me to revive the whole team, but I forgot to put it on my hotbar. To prevent the armature's AoE from taking out more than one of us, I spread the group out so it could only target one of us at a time. While trying to work out the best way to take this thing on, I thought we had bugged it out, so I decided to see if I could just walk up and melee it. I forgot that I'd been using the sabotage ability and that this affects the armature's ranged attack. What was weird though was that it seemed like the armature could shoot in any direction without having to face that way, which made it hard to understand who it was shooting at. The good thing though is that the armature was about as willing to move as the opinion of a Mass Effect fan talking about the third game. Biotic abilities didn't seem to be having an effect, so we were limited to our tech abilities, which dragged out the fight. It was going slow, but well. Tali had some cover she was actually using while being able to keep up her damage, but unfortunately Rex kept being caught in the open and was being one-shot every time I rezzed him. Things then went from to bad when Tali got taken out. I was still safe, but realised it was Tali suppressing fire that was keeping the armature's shield from regenerating. Between me not being able to use half of my abilities and had no way of applying consistent damage right now, I was feeling about as useful as the chocolate teapot. As Unity was still on cooldown, it was time to run away and use the respawn trick to get the team back. With some squad buffs and a full reset, we gave it another go. This time was much better. With Rex holding aggro while in full cover, Tali doing gradual damage and keeping the shield at bay, I could then focus on as much damage as possible in my short bursts. It took a while, but when the time came, I rushed in for that satisfying final hit with the melee.
How about you?
After that four-legged automated menace was dealt with, we ventured on to find Dr. Liara Tassoni, just hanging out.
Could somebody help me? Please?
Quit shouting! This place is crawling with Geth.
Be careful. There is a Krogan with the Geth. They have been trying different ways to get past the barrier.
Anyway, we fought through some tin men and found a new toy to penetrate Liara's barrier.
Oh, how did you get in here? I didn't think there was any way past the barrier.
We blasted through with the mining laser.
Of course. Yes, that makes sense.
After freeing Liara, it was time to leave this pile of rocks. Well, it was until the previously mentioned Krogan decided to turn up and BioWare decided to perform the Krogan fuckery domain expansion on me.
We don't have time to deal with this idiot. Charge!
Oh dear god, this Krogan Battlemaster was a nightmare. Seriously, what do they feed these things? They hit so hard, refuse to die. Doing this challenge, I unlocked a new respect for the Krogan. So this guy one-shot me if he looked at me the wrong way, take an absolute pounding,
Nice.
had a small platoon of Geth with him, and we were in a small room that was tough to move around in, with the only exit being blocked by space Bowser.
The barrier.
Yeah, we get it. I was literally locked in with him. I was trying to deal with the ads before taking on the Krogan, but he kept downing the squad before my revive ability was back up, and unlike in other fights, I had nowhere to run to use the respawn trick. I really wasn't sure on how to tackle this. I tried kiting him around and letting the others DPS him, didn't work. I tried gearing us up for more damage, didn't work. I tried gearing us for more defense, didn't work. We died over and over and over and over again. Can't I run him? Having the lift ability was becoming more and more helpful as it was giving me moments of reprieve from his rampage. It also never became boring seeing a charging Krogan just float away like a lost balloon. I was finally getting to grips with the fight and we got him so close, but I swear from sheer force of will alone this guy brought it back, not once, but twice in one fight. Why did he get all these? No, don't you! Ah, he was so close. Rex decided this was a good time to do some trolling. Seriously, whose side are you on? Then occurred to me, I'd been looking at this fight wrong. I'd been treating it like an endurance fight, needing to outlive the Krogan and relying on the team's damage. I was very wrong. He's just too tanky. I had to look at it like it was a DPS race. My damage had gotten a lot better, but it's reliant on my rotation of cooldowns to minimize downtime. After all, what was all that side questing for? I also made sure the team were using their shotguns as we were fighting in a small space and had them equip some ammo mods. For Tali, I had her equip the anti-personnel rounds for bonus damage to organics, but with Rex I equipped the hammerhead rounds hoping you would be able to knock the enemy Krogan down, which would take some of the pressure off of us. With our new setup, we re-engaged. Is he right fucking here? Of course he is. No, not me. Fuck off.
I'm better now.
What am I stuck on? Ow.
Kill confirmed.
Yes! Oh, thank fuck we did it. That was by far the hardest encounter so far. Back on the Normandy, it was time to get to know our new friend.
I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander.
Alright, fair enough. Next up, Noveria. Man, it was good to see
That's
some
far
friendly
enough.
faces after all that fighting.
I'm on important business.
This is an unscheduled arrival. I need your credentials.
You first.
We're the law here. Show some respect.
Who pissed in her coffee?
Don't try it.
We apologize for the incident in the docking bay.
Someone piss in your security chief's coffee today?
After what we'd been through, I wasn't quite ready to go headfirst into the next brick wall of an encounter, so we decided to take a look around. In typical Shepherd fashion, this included a spot of shopping for new armor, talking to a hentai,
I've been busy. I'll pick it up later.
Any results?
sharing some womanly advice.
Your toy did its job.
I suppose it would have to until Garrus realizes he's ready for me. And a reorganization of the local law enforcement.
You know what we did to cop killers on my world?
You're breaking the law for bribe money. You know what we do to dirty cops on my world?
Rex is so proud of his culture. Anyway, off to find Benezia. Simple enough, right?
Access to the garage is restricted.
I have authorization. Excuse me.
At least there's no Geth here, right? Right?
I'm tired, boss.
We took off into this dangerous blizzard everyone had been warning us about, but the most dangerous thing about it was my inability to drive in a straight line. Seriously, was I trying to steer with my feet? Okay, we made it. Let's go find Benezia. Oh, for fuck's sake. Before we could get any further, we had to deal with a Geth Juggernaut, and not one, but two Krogan. This was going to be hell. I don't blame Tali for not wanting to go in there.
No can do.
There was a couple of silver linings though. The Geth Juggernaut basically didn't move, and at least the Krogan weren't Battle Masters. That's something, right? Okay, I can hear your eyes rolling at the thought of another Krogan-related speed bump. There's been enough of me struggling against Krogan for one video, right? So I'm going to skim through this. Geth Juggernaut. Big, shoots rockets, has a repair drone, doesn't tend to move. Not too bad. Two Krogan, more of what we had before, but double. So, how do we tackle this one? We had some more levels. Tali leveled up her decryption skill, which was more tech damage. And Rex unlocked Master Warp, which was a big defense debuff he could inflict on his enemies. Took another look at our gear, which really helped here. More on that in a minute. First we took out the repair drone and followed that by staying at a distance in order to take out the Juggernaut. Thankfully the two Krogan stayed at the back of the room and didn't do much. My plan was to then try and get one of the Krogan stuck so we can just focus one down at a time. That equipment upgrade I mentioned? Okay, so the two things of note that were huge here were the armor mod I picked up, which gave us a big boost to our cooldowns as well as some extra shields. But arguably more important in this situation was the polonium rounds that I equipped on Rex's shotgun. This made it so his shots inflicted toxic on an enemy. An extra damage over time is great, but even better than that was it prevented any health regeneration as long as Rex kept hitting them. It's safe to say that this was a game changer from when fighting Krogan. Don't get me wrong, this fight was still a pain and took longer than I'd like to admit.
No. Wait.
Eventually my main plan actually worked, even better than I'd hoped as I'd managed to get both Krogan stuck by spamming my throw and lift abilities, and while stuck the Krogan barely fought back. Once this happened it was just a matter of time until they were dealt with.
Shield down. Target up.
Oh, thank God for that, finally. A reward for all that hard work? A new Solaris amp which massively boosted our cooldowns and access to peak 15 and a whole new enemy type. That last fight was tough, but we got through it easier than I thought, so it was time for the Rachni to become the new target of my frustration. First I proceeded to flex this new sense of strength and capability. Okay, so the creepy alien spider's hurt. After stomping on some bugs, we leveled up and we unlocked the neural shock ability, which gave us another form of stun and applied a poison damage over time effect. Before we could progress further, we had to restart the damn Alexa.
It looks like you're trying to restore this facility. Would you like help?
How do I shut this thing up?
And then to move on, we had to get past more Rachni. I was feeling lazy, so I used a bit of cheese for this fight. We took a quick break to sit by a fire before taking the tram to get further into the facility. After pretending to listen to the scientists and getting lost in what felt like a never-ending maze of these tunnels, we found the matriarch in a modest outfit. Sorry, did you say something? There are two large blue distractions in this room. See? Considering these Asari commanders have such a reputation, I was expecting more from them. Apparently I found it harder to drive the Mako than to fight these overgrown psychic smurfs.
I thought I was strong enough to resist. Instead, I became a willing tool, eager to serve.
I can't. His teeth are up my ear. Fingers on my spine. You should.
Saren's heard those sounds before.
Yeah, boy.
Now, for the main reason I came here.
Have to stop him,
I mean... Yeah, okay. Now she's out the way. Time to decide what to do with that.
We cannot sing.
Didn't ask.
I didn't come here to talk to bugs.
The
Kind of zoned out in this
children
dialogue.
were stolen from us before they could learn to sing.
Makes sense. A baby left alone in a closet until she's 16 won't be sane.
Read the room, Tali.
There are acid tanks rigged up on that thing. Set them off. Millions of my ancestors died to put these things down. Don't let them come back.
Judge her.
Okay. Shepard doesn't give a fuck. Okay, I think we're done here. Just kidding, we've been asked by this lone man in a random room to give the remaining bugs the same treatment as the Queen. The difference is, we're not going to be using gas. So how do we deal with yet more of this bug infestation?
The Purge is a neutron burst weapon. 2 volumes of fissionable materials are brought together to form a critical mass. This radiation is instantly lethal to any known form of life within 500 meters.
Ah yeah, that'd do it.
Nah, just a pleasant afternoon in the sun for a Krogan.
So for real though, a part of me wished I hadn't stumbled in here, as we were now stuck and we had to do this part to get out. I was not expecting this kind of challenge when I started this run. With all my damage tied to cooldowns, how am I supposed to get past all of those in 2 minutes? For a while I genuinely thought I was going to have to reload an older save, but I really didn't want to have to do that. Thankfully, on one of our attempts I found an opening and decided to make a run for it. With that, it was time to leave this bug-infested frozen mess of a planet. Before we continue with the main quests, we had a side quest which if you finish unlocks your specialization classes, which essentially extends your talent tree for the class you chose. So we decided to take a detour. I was looking forward to seeing how this could upgrade and overall affect our playstyle. Well, I was until I realized I couldn't finish the objective. We had to destroy these nodes to finish the mission. Unfortunately, it seems like you can only damage them with guns, as none of my abilities did anything. Walking up and hitting it did nothing, and I couldn't get my companions to attack it. So outside of a bit of XP, this was a waste of time. Next up, Khalid. Feros. Before we touched down in that shithole, I decided to check in with the crew.
If you are here to talk about Benezia's death, you need not bother. She brought it upon herself.
Well, it's illegal for parents to have more than one child. If our population grows too much, it will strain our resources to their breaking point. Of course, we also can't allow our numbers to become too few. If our population is in decline, the rule against single births is temporarily repealed. In extreme cases of population decline, incentives are even offered to encourage multiple births, though the conflict hasn't had to take such measures in nearly a century.
You were right about one thing. That wasn't interesting.
Anyways, immediately after disembarking in the Normandy, we were greeted by a man who can see the future.
Dan wants to speak with you immediately. The Geth wait for no one. They're preparing another attack.
Wow.
We then met the man with the ridiculous name and his moody assistant.
You're a bit late, aren't you?
Arcelia. Sorry, Commander. Everyone's on edge since...
Watch out! We've got Geth in the tower!
Okay, Geth, now you're just being rude with all these interruptions. After teaching the Geth some respect, it was time to fight our way through what could have been an interesting area, but no, they for some reason decided to make everything brown. Brown there, brown over here. Oh look, a grey thing. Now we're really flexing the colour palette. For now at least we had some Geth to beat up and a few little side quests to get done, which included fixing some water things, killing some beastie things, and talking to this thing.
Trying to get to the...
Maybe I should just put him out of his misery.
Anyways, time to report in.
Grateful for what you've done, but your heroics don't impress me, Commander.
I get the feeling you don't like me.
It was time to get to the real reason we came here, infiltrating the Exogeny headquarters. First we had a leisurely drive and took in the sights, before coming across a group of survivors, one who was looking for their daughter and one who was being weird.
Commander, before you go, my daughter, Lisbeth, she's missing.
They shouldn't waste time poking around. We can do a proper accounting of our casualties after the Geth are gone.
Turns out the weirdo was trying to hide the fact that there's a mind-controlling plant in the building, one that the Geth were also trying to get to. Well, in true sadist shepherd fashion, it's time to kill everything in sight. Doesn't matter if it's Geth, a giant mind-controlling plant, the husks it can spawn, or to be honest, any other humanoid-based life form. It's about to die. So the beginning of this area wasn't too difficult. A few mobs of Geth and the occasional group of Krogan, which at this point weren't too scary. If anything, it was just a bit slow as there were a lot of encounters, and as previously mentioned, this location isn't particularly exciting to look at, and only slowed down even more by the occasional tanky enemy. Like this, who thought it would be a good idea to put this pile of shit here, in this tiny room? So I think we could have just run from this thing, but I decided to see if we could bring it down. After all, we're nearing what feels like the pinnacle of our power, so why not see if we could kill it? Turns out, at this point, this wasn't too difficult. That's mostly due to Tali's hack ability, which just completely nullified the armature and essentially kept it stun locked while we hammered away at it. It was tedious and a clear reminder why I allowed the use of the Mako turret, but it's good to know we can kill these things if we can be bothered. Anyway, we fought our way through until we found out that people in the settlement had been affected by the Thorian, and that previous group of survivors had asked us to spare them by using these low-level nerve agent grenades to pacify them if they turned hostile. Even if I was of the civilian saving mind, there was another issue with that plan. I wasn't allowed to use grenades in this run. Oh no, the limits of this challenge aren't allowing me to save all those people? Whatever will we do? Well, that works. The slow fights only got worse when we finally found the Thorian. For some reason, despite being cannon fodder-like enemies designed to overwhelm Shepard and the crew, these Thorian creepers had way too much HP, and fighting this amount of them quickly became a slog. I'm assuming it was the difficulty that had set these enemies to be spongier than seemingly needed, but thankfully I discovered a solution that allowed me to speed up the process of dealing with them. As they had no ranged abilities, they had to chase us and get into melee. Luckily for us, we were scaling a tower throughout this fight that had a hollow open center, which I could use to push the creepers into, which instantly killed them. The throw ability was the easiest way for me to do this, but the melee also had a decent knockback. Even better when combined with the lift ability, it essentially became batting practice in the creepers with a ball. This was a speedy and frankly amusing solution to the tanky HP problem. Unfortunately, I had no alternative to dealing with the Thorian nodes other than smacking away at them. At least these don't fight back. After making our way to the top, we were forced to watch this awkward pseudo-birthing scene where a full-grown squid smurf popped out and started talking. It was time to get back to the ship and recollect ourselves as a team.
This was my kind of mission. Kill a bunch of Geth and end things off with a huge crash.
I am an expert on the Protheans.
Weird flex, but okay. After all that hard work, we unlocked our final ability, Stasis, another form of CC to add to our collection, which in my opinion wasn't as good as the others, as any target that is in Stasis can't take damage. Thanks for watching, I appreciate all the support. We're getting closer to the end of this journey, so stay tuned for what's to come. The real hunt for Saren begins now.